Around 1971, we had this Christmas party, and days of vinyl records.
Yeah.
So we bring records from home. So this guy brought this album, a lot of albums. I was looking through. I like music, and even as artist too, I like imagery.
Yeah.
So I just saw this album cover of Osibisa, Wo Yaya. That album cover, it's a double sleeve with a flying elephant on the cover. When I saw the cover, that painting, I loved it. But I didn't know I was going to be designing covers. But it registered in my memory, in my subconscious. So when my uncle offered me that opportunity, I did my double spread thing. So the company, Deca West Africa, when my uncle took that sleeve design to them, one, they said it wasn't totally professional. I was still starting out. But secondly, they said, who is going to pay for double sleeve color separation? My uncle's band is a fledgling highlight band. So it wasn't published. But that was my beginning. Then, end of 1973, people were doing New Year's resolutions. And my spirit just said to me, like, oh, this is sleep service. So I made a drawing. I drew a wooden door with bars and big padlocks. Yeah. And I wrote, I don't need New Year's resolution. I'm a resolute. And people, when I show them, they would look at it, this boy, like, So, but what I was trying to say is, I don't believe in lip service because my own resolution now was I have to do a drawing a day to practice. So I started that year.
What kind of things do you used to draw? Anything?
I take things in the house. I still have one surviving drawing book. Yes.
So we're just trying different things.
Yes, different things every day, and I must finish. I don't start and end. Finish the next day. I must finish. I'll do the sketch. I paint it that day. Sometimes my mom will send me on errand. I'll be grumbling.
Because you've not finished the drawing.
I will run. Then when I get back, I may get back a bit late. My mom said, "Oh, you've not taken breakfast or something." I said, "No, I've not finished my assignment for today." And my mom will be looking at me.
And you didn't have any goal as to why you were doing this. You were just doing it.
My spirit just said, "Practice every day. Practice every day." So I had an older artist who I used to go to down our street, William F. Young. So it was announced on radio that designers should present coat of arms. And the winner will get 5,000 Naira. That was a lot of money. I bought my first car at 21 for 4,700, brand new tier rubber from Niteco. So you see the value of 5,000 Naira at that time. The day the result was announced, I was the one who first heard on radio. So I ran down the street. I said, brother, I said, mention your name.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, he won. If we can find Cross River State emblem that time, is the thing I'm talking about.
Oh, wow.
So that was an experience for me. So I like to see.
So he won the 5,000 Naira?
Yes.
Wow.
They used his coat of arms for that state that time. So all that experience, helped me, inspired me more. Ooh. And he was the one who gave me idea of pricing. So that period I was drawing every day. Everybody in the neighborhood knew me. They say, artist boy. So I was doing that very consciously and very obviously in my environment. So the first opportunity just came. There was this military officer that was getting married. The family were now thinking of what to buy for their uncle. And they said, uncle has everything. Then what can we buy to? Somebody now said, he likes artwork. They now said, that boy, let's tell him to do a portrait. So they approached me to commission me for a portrait. So they brought the photograph of the man in military uniform and the lady he was getting married to in lace material. I now did the portrait, combine both of them, make them wear lace. It was a hit.
Oh, he wasn't originally wearing.
Yeah, he was wearing military uniform. Yeah, wow. So when I finished the script, everybody started talking about me like, how did you do it? You changed your uncle's clothes to lace too. So it was successful. I became a portrait artist too. Once in a while, people would just accost me. Then I was charging 30 naira. 30 naira was a lot of money. School certificate holder at that time, salary was 21 naira.
Oh wow.
And you can rent a room for 4 naira a month.
What gave you the mind to charge 30 naira?
That
William
brother, yes. So that's how I started. So it became lucrative for me immediately. Now, next building, there was this drink place run by a German. So he sells ogogoro, you know, kai, and sells beer. So, and pepper soup and all that. So people will come and drink. Native intelligence. The man, I think he saw that, this boy can draw well. Then it was the era of Kung Fu films. Kung Fu was all over the place. I used to go to Jebako Cinema in Mushi to watch
That's a long time.
Martini show is 12 p.m., 12 in the afternoon. So Kung Fu was all over the place. Then the release of Bruce Lee was end of 1973. Bruce Lee's film Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee, John Saxon, and Jim Kelly. So that man, Odyssey was his name, Odyssey. Odyssey now came, say, Lemi, you go help me do painting, Bruce Lee poster. So I said, okay. So he commissioned me to do that. So I did the poster of Bruce Lee's film, Enter the Dragon. And he framed it and put it in his drink place. You see that where I said native intelligence, that's marketing strategy. It's like these days, imagine a viewing center can commission an artist to paint all these footballers, and hang it there. You know, it would be attractive. It was era of Kung Fu films. So this man asked me to do that and put, to attract more customers. So there was this journalist from the Sunday Punch. The newspaper is presently called The Punch. It used to be Sunday Punch because it was weekly. It started in 1973 as a weekly paper every Sunday. So Babatunde Harrison was his name. He's late now too. So he came to drink and he saw the Bruce Lee poster. So he was really impressed. This night, who did it? They say it's a small boy next door. As a journalist, when he had the word small boy, okay, he said he wanted to see me. So they brought him and he asked to see my portfolio. Now, I call it portfolio now. That time, now under bed.
Well done.
All of them now under the bed. I pack out the drawer. You reach like 50. So he started looking. I jump a bit.
Tell me.
Meanwhile, also around that same period, one morning I woke up. I was thinking of items to draw. Then I was playing Fela's song. It was a recent album of Fela then. Music of Fela, Rough Fight. So I was playing it on the turntable. And my spirit just said, why don't you do a cover, for practice? Just design a cover for practice. I've had interest in cover design, but not that I took it like I was going to be a designer as such, but I just love that space.
You always just sort of reimagine how we should look or something.
Yes.
Okay.
So my spirit said, why don't I do that Fela cover of my own? So the vibe I got from the music, the energy, the music is very danceable. And that's the power that Fela's music has. The politics is very harsh, very tough. A lot of people don't want to be involved in the politics, but that music makes it impossible for you not to be able to dance. So that energy that I got, I drew Fela dancing on mud. Rofo is a Yoruba word for mud. Rofo fight is a fight in the mud, and the lyrics was like a social song where Fela was like appealing to his two friends who were getting into fisticuffs in an environment that was muddy. So the song can be funny in a way, the way he delivered it. He says at a point that the two of them, if they fought in that environment, they will get rubbed with mud that we will not know who is who. They will look like twins. So it's just very funny lyrics. But my own illustration drew Fela dancing on mud. I didn't draw people fighting on mud. You see, I didn't know I was laying foundation for what I was going to do in the future. Because when I was doing that, I never imagined I was going to meet Fela. I wasn't fanzine, it wasn't as if I wanted to, I want to draw Fela because I want to see him. No. So I just did that as practice, my normal practice. Now, fast forward, Babatunde Harrison came to check my artworks. As he was going through, he saw the Fela cover.
Hmm.
So he looked at me and said, "Ah, can you do album covers?" I had also done one after my uncle's. That was the first to be published for a friend of mine who I met at the TV station, because I used to go to the TV station too to draw live.
I remember that thing. They used
Yes.
to do it on even
Yeah.
NTA.
NTA,
used
yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
You would have an artist, and the artist would
Yes.
be sketching what is going on.
As the program is going on,
Yeah.
I used to go for Youth Scene, Lagos Scope, Youth Forum, Atalade, Michael Nahoro, Julie Coker.
Please
All those people.
specify which Atalade, so people don't think that is
The father of Dari Atalade. Yeah,
please.
yeah, the father of Dari Atalade. Yes,
So
so
you're 70 and you don't look it.
yes,
You can
yeah.
pass for aging.
Yes, so I did like to hear that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, you were
So,
sketching, and
yeah.
then Babatunde Harrison asked.
Yeah, so he asked, "Can you do album covers?" I said, you know, I was quite timid anyway and shy. And I said, yeah. He said, 2 days ago, me and Fela were talking about album covers, you know, cover art. And he said, "You know what? I'll bring Fela picture for you. You do a portrait. If it's good enough, I'll take you."
Fela.
Now, me, I love to show off
I
my
know.
skill. So, as he was saying all that aspect that he would take me to Fela, that one no shock me.
You
like
thought
we
he
used
was
to
drunk.
say.
I remember you.
Yes, I thought he
in
was
the beer
drunk.
parlour drinking.
Yes, I was looking at this man and does he know Fela? But I wasn't even keen on going to meet Fela. That wasn't my own motivation. You know what moved me was that challenge, that if the portrait is good enough, you take me. So inside me, I would say, bring it on, you know? That's that's how I used to behave in my mind. Because I was just loving what I was doing. And I was very confident. So he brought the picture the next day. He normally came to drink in the evenings. So, I've been practicing, finish an artwork a day.
Yeah.
So I finished the portrait a day. I'm telling you, the Fela portrait.
One day.
Yes. The next evening could have been 24 hours. And my mom was always supportive. When my dad would be quarreling that I'm drawing, that I'm not reading my book, my mom will cool him down. So my mom overheard that conversation. And my mom said, "Oh, since he's taking you to Fela, you need to frame it." So my mom gave me 5 Naira. Yes, to frame 18 inches by 24 inches glass frame. So we frame across the road. We were living off Ikorodu Road.
Yeah.
So I just crossed the road. The framer framed by 5 p.m. in the evening.
It was ready.
Ready. That's 24 hours window. So I started waiting at the corridor, looking at the street. The moment I saw Babatunde Harrison coming, I just jumped out. I just said, "Uncle." I heard the painting like this. So he said,
You're already done.
"You're already done." He said, "Okay, I'm not going to drink again. Let's go. I'm taking you to Fela." I mean,
I heard this story many times, but every time you take me to gym,
I was surprised. So I ran in. I told my mom, I said, "He wants to take me to Fela." My mom said, "Be careful." Fela was already notorious.
Popular for
popular for that his zany lifestyle. So Babatunde Harrison called a taxi. And I realized that Kalakuta was not even too far from my house. I didn't know before. So we got there. It was early evening. Fela was still sleeping. He was having Ben sleep. That's another.
And give us just now, what's Ben sleep?
Ben sleep. Fela had sex 3 times a day. Yes. So Ben sleep is he's having sex.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now
yes,
we know.
Yes. Now you know.
Just don't be surprised if this becomes a thing on the internet.
It doesn't matter. It's not a problem. Yeah. It's the truth.
Started a movement.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So he was having Ben sleep.
Yeah. So the gate man, knew Babatunde Harrison well. So he opened the gate. We went in, and when he told he said, "Is Fela awake?" He said no. So Babatunde said, "I should wait in the compound. That he will go and drink." He didn't drink in my area because of the excitement. So I started waiting in the compound. I was very nervous. Kalakuta. Then I was seeing, young people like me smoking, smoking a book, everybody, the girls, everything exposed and all that. It was crazy. So I was very edgy.
Oh, wow.
Then one girl came out from the house and saw me. Said, "Lemi."
She knew you?
Yes. We lived in the same street.
Oh, wow.
Her parents were pharmacists. They are middle class. They live in a duplex down that street, Kalejai Street. This big pastor, Adefarasi. Yes, their house. They grew
Was
up
there
there
as
too.
well?
Yes, their father was very rich. They lived in this 2-story building. Yeah. So Ibe Ago, that was the girl's name. She had absconded from home. They've been looking for her for 2 weeks. They didn't know.
she was in Fela's house.
Yes, it happened a lot those days. So she said,
So wait, so Fela's
Yeah.
house was sort of like a refuge for people.
Yes, his door was open 24 hours. Anybody, any street urchin can come in and say, I don't have a place to stay, or my parents drove me out of the house.
He would,
You say, yeah. So everybody, he had like 80 to 100 people living in the house.
and he was
with him.
feeding them.
Yes. But he was a good human resource manager. He
Give you work.
Yes, everybody had roles to play. Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
So Ibe came out and
Yes, saw me. Said, Lemi, kilo wa shembi.
like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, what am I doing? So I said, I brought this. He said, oh, you want the artist here? Tunde sọ fún Fela.
Oh, you're the artist that
Tunde was telling Fela.
told Fela.
So I now realized that, whoa, so this man was real.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So he said, okay, I should hold on. She will go and get Fela. So she entered the house. Inside the compound, the house was surrounded by barbed wire fencing. So,
which makes sense considering all that he was going through with the government at the time.
Yes. So she ran inside the house. She went inside the house. I waited like maybe about 10 minutes. She brought Fela out. Fela came out.
Power of a woman.
You're telling me. And then the simplicity of Fela too. Yeah, I learned a lot of my simplicity from how he behaved to people. Yeah, he was very youthful. So Fela came out with the girl, and he was groggy with sleep. His eyes bloodshot. He has big eyeballs.
Yeah.
So his eyes were bulging, and his his pants was drooping. So all his pubic hair was exposed. So
I wasn't wearing anything else.
No, nothing else. So my hand started shaking. I said, "Good evening, sir." He said, "Don't sir me, call me Fela."
And you couldn't look at him, obviously.
No, I couldn't. But that's
outfit.
Yeah,
was shocking.
And I was coming from Roman Catholic background though. I was nervous. So he said, "Are you the artist?" That confirmed again. So I said, "Yes, sir." He said, make I see what you bring." So I wrapped that portrait, but my hands were shaking. I couldn't unwrap it. So eBay collected it. I had to unwrap. So Fela looked at it and said 2 words. It's the first time in my life, and I will never forget. Lie. He said, "Wow, God damn it." That was what he said. So I was just, my mouth was agape, like, ooh. So he said, "Come inside." So he ushered me in. They asked for what I wanted. The Kalakuta, first impression
matters.
Yes, there were a lot of them, corridor everywhere. Then there were guys who had trays with sticks of Igbo.
That they were rapping.
Yeah, some rapping and some it's already rap. So it's like, like you get a visitor and you give them cola nuts.
That's
so
their own cola nuts.
Yeah, so I said I wanted Fanta. So they got me Fanta. And Fela asked for my name.
Sure, because you used to like Fanta back then. Yes, I remember that. Yes. Fanta, Bonvita.
Yeah.
And they all have ta.
Yeah, Tata. So he asked for my name. He asked that was his personal assistant to bring his checkbook. So he wrote out. He asked for my name and wrote out a check. And he does this. He likes to do this. He will roll the check like a cigarette, like a Rizzler. So he rolled it and gave me. So I collected it nervously. Then I unrolled the check and I saw 120 Naira.
You used to charge 30 Naira at the time.
But he didn't know how much I charged. But I was 120. I look at
4 times your money.
You said?
I say 4 times your normal going charge.
Yeah, 4 times, yeah. But immediately my spirit said no. So I just gave Fela back check. I said, "Fela, I don't want money. I give you from the bottom of my heart." He was surprised. I was 18. He said, "Okay." So yeah, he said, "Bring my notebook." So the primary school aside with that blue one with the Olympic jumper.
At least my time, we saw that.
Yeah, it's still around. So the guy brought it, and Fela tore a sheet and wrote, "Please admit bearer any show free of charge."
For life.
Yeah. So, and he signed. it was later I realized he had 4 shows a week. He was very hardworking. 4 performances a week at the shrine. Tuesday night, ladies' night. Ladies' night is for ladies free, but their boyfriends will pay. And that's where Fela...
Smart marketing.
Yeah, that's where Fela get more girls.
Yep, smart marketing.
Then Friday, Yabis night, for the fans who love politics. So on Fridays, he would talk, lampoon everybody, talk about what's going on. Then Saturday, comprehensive show. That's the day they have the full show. In the sense that the other days, the show has 4 cubicles, the 4 corners.
Yeah.
So a dancer will be in each cubicle at some time, maybe dance to 2 songs. The songs are long.
Yeah.
Then they'll change. So, but on Saturdays, all about 20 of them would now have choreography. Yeah, it was actually Hubert Ogunde's son that was
coordinating
choreography for them that time. And then Saturday, he does his traditional religious worship. Fela worshipped Shango or something like that. Yeah,
I remember. Because he gave me that gist about how he went and said they should shoot him because he had carried jazz. I remember. Yeah.
So he incorporated that. He doesn't evangelize, traditional religion. They don't tell you come join us. So he will just incorporate it in the performance every Saturday. So Sunday is the jump. Sunday jump. It's a jump because the timing is family suitable.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I attended. So this part of when I tell my story to anyone, not just young people, human beings, we need directions. We need advice sometimes, everybody definitely does at one point or the other. So I used to say, it's important to know yourself. It's important to be able to mark your own territory. When you know yourself, you know what you want for your life. So hero worshiping, I don't deal with. It's like religion. They're worshiping Jesus. They are not emulating Jesus. If Christians are emulating Jesus, I think the world will be a better place. So emulation is the key. So that's what I believe and that's what I practice. All my heroes, I emulate. It could be, my heroes are revolutionaries. I'm not a revolutionary. I'm an evolutionary. I believe in process. Things will take time to fix. Revolutionaries want to shatter the table right now. They are good energy. They are good people for, catalysts for change. And like Yoruba will say, Jafojo. There are people who will fight for the weak. They are okay that way, but I'm not. So I don't want to pretend to be, but I'm eager to play a supportive role to them. Also, there's a young man called, his handle is the Mac, like short for merchant.
Oh, okay. M-E-R-C-H.
Just M-E-R-C.
Oh, R-C, okay.
He started, you see the power of art, conscious art. I mean, art, music, anything, culture, everything. The power that it has to influence or motivate society. Okay. I'll give you this typical example. This guy, when his earlier content, when it started, he said what prompted him was listening to Burna Boy's song, Another Story, that he never knew Nigeria was a company, that he never knew. That when Burna Boy sang that song, he said, where did Burna Boy get this history? He said he started making research. Yesterday, the guy did a content on Traore. Traore and Russia, they are working to have a nuclear plant for the electricity there. Yeah. That was his content yesterday. From Burna Boy's song.
He's now digging deeper.
The guy started digging and he now creates content on Pan-African thought about, you understand? And he's been doing the Mac, you can check him. He's also on YouTube. There are a lot of content creators that scatter my dad right now. There is this young man in Ghana, Wode Maya. His ambition is to tour all the 54 African countries. Wode has done 30-something countries. Right now, he's just finished Brazil. He's gone to, I think, Cuba or so. Okay. So it's anywhere that the African is. He wants to connect them. So he does content. He got married to a young lady, I think, Miss Trudy from Kenya. That one too does content about all the villages in Africa, all the parks and so. Yeah.
Funny enough, there's a lady as well called Alma Sinobi, and one of her goals before 2025 is to visit all the African countries and take people there, so that, because it's commercial to go to all these other countries, everybody likes to go there, but she wants to help and normalize people visiting Africa, our own countries,
so we can relate more. And that's what the colonialists don't want. That's why they created the borders in 1885. We have to be getting visa to fly to Mozambique from here. You might as well go to Australia.
More expensive and stressful to travel within an African country.
It's colonial construct. Because we are ignorant. All the people who run affairs in Africa, most of them are ignorant. So they keep it that way. These are people, we need to connect with. We need a network like that. So that's where it's powerful. Anything you know how to do, do it well. So each one teach one at the end of the day. So I'm playing my role quietly because it's not about noise. You remember the other time we're having that chat. I said, I'm not a cloud chaser. I'm not interested. It's not about followers or when events happen. Some people will come out, pretend like we are revolutionary, and society just swallow it because society is generally ignorant. So they gain fame by so doing. That's cloud chasing. It's not helping matters at all. But consciousness is what we need to build. How to build consciousness is to get information. Information is liberation. Knowledge applied is powerful, but concise information leads to knowledge that is liberation. You understand? And it's powerful. So that's what will liberate Africa. That's why I'm looking for the women. Conscious women. So sometimes outside these shows, when I talk like this, I say, if I was with the American government, I won't be the soldiers with the boots in Iraq or anywhere they wanted to be destroying. I won't be there. I'd rather be with the CIA, formulating the ideology to destroy. You understand? So that's the role I love to play.
Because you did that with Fela as well, with the young
African pioneers.
That was amazing. You were the one who would draw the sketches in the paper that you would.
I was the only one that my name could be traced. I almost got into trouble one time.
Oh wow! Because you always sign, even your album covers with Fela. You're the only one who would sign, and he gave you.
And I'll write statements.
So, you give you a chance
to do that. I'm the only traceable
person
apart from Fela.
I see.
Yeah, all the members of Young Apart, but nobody knew them. So that showed the kind of commitment
you had.
That's my own bravery.
But do you think that part of that was the reason why you sort of had a fallout sort of with Fela at some point?
Character. It's character that broke us. And that's what I'm emphasizing right now, because you need to mark your territory. So me, I never loved nocturnal activities. I don't attend events.
You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't womanize.
I humanize. Because I love the ladies. Because I see potential in every lady. The possibility of the Africa's mental liberation. Because women are the most powerful humans, because they are the ones who give birth to a child. They are the first teachers, the first philosopher, the first doctor, the first nurse to a human being. Even Fela, our hero that we talk about, was inspired, was enlightened by a woman, his girlfriend, Sandra Isidore. The woman is still alive. It was the woman that pointed Fela in his direction.
To stop singing about the soup.
Yes, Fela was singing just like what the young guys are doing today. The high life songs were basically about girl and all that, about rain, about mundane things. And that lady was a member of the Black Panther, and Fela was staying with her. And Fela was singing this song about soup, that you can't take soup without pepper. And the lady said, what's the meaning? And when Fela told her, she said, are you man enough with all the problem of African black people?
This is what you can
this is what you do. You know about Malcolm X? Do you know Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah? And Fela was shocked. And that's what set Fela, on the journey. Meeting Fela loved to read a lot. So there were a lot of books on African history, the concise African history that were never taught us in school. Not the Mongo Park story of Melis Lesser, Bombo Clat story. So Fela started giving me and my friends, books to read. And, I came ready. I always love to read. So books like Black Man of the Nile and His Family by Professor Yosef Ben-Jokanan. I'm mentioning it because there's a young girl right now on TikTok called Sandra. She's fire. She's reading such books and she's exposing different things.
More people to it.
And she rendered one analysis 2 days ago I wanted to cry. Like, whoa! Hopefully, in the near future, people like this will be able to, get to that position in society, because she analyzed the structure of colonialism and the effect, and all the after effect and the governance that's going on, and why everywhere is the way it is, very effectively, because she's knowledgeable and she's always installing her followers to read. She will say, you people need to be reading this book. Wow. She will read out a paragraph. That was the kind of things we're doing those days with Fela and the young African pioneers. We set that up to educate people. That's re-educate, like to unlearn. So I was Roman Catholic. So I used to go to church. Yeah. My baptismal name was Emmanuel.
Wait, even Jesus' name say?
Yes, that's where it becomes more bizarre when I chopped it off. So Emmanuel Sunday was my name, my official name in school. Emmanuel Sunday Oko. So I also, at a point, I wanted to be a mass server. So you know how deep I was.
Yeah.
I read the Bible at least twice, cover to cover, those days. And then we'll go for confession on Saturdays. So now I'm reading this African history, the civilization in Egypt, colonialism, the African philosophy, all this. I'm really getting to the nitty-gritty of it. I'm learning a lot. I'm realizing, like, wow, this is us. This is who we are supposed to be. Now, Saturdays, I'll go to confession. There's this European from Irish priest those days, that you kneel down in front. Bless me, Father, I have sinned. These are my sins. Imagine that audacity. So, and me, I have two sins every time.
You have to pay that out.
One, I used to warm the stew for my mom. And she used to give me small meat. So when I'm warming, I look left and right. I just take one, I help myself and chop and clean mouth like nothing happened. That's one. Number two, I may be sketching something. My mom sends me on an errand. I will be stamping my feet. Oh, this woman. And in the Bible, they say, honor your father and your mother. So I'll be feeling guilty later. On Saturday, I'll go and confess. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. These are my sins. I abused my mother 2 times this week. I stole meat from the soup pot 2 times this week. And the man will now say, Dominus Vobis coming spirit 12. Can you imagine? Then you say, go and read Hail Mary 10 times, the Lord's Prayer 5 times. And the whole community comes to confess their sins. Even the things you cannot reveal to your parents, you reveal to this white man. And that's where they got demography, knew how to work on our psyche.
So you saw it as data collection?
Yes, exactly. So I said, whoa. I said, God forbid. So one Sunday morning, I told my mom, I said, I'm not going to church again. My mom said, hey.
How old were you?
I was 19, going to be 20. I said,
to come off like teenage rebellion.
Yes. So I said, I'm not going to church again. My mom said, So she cooled down. But my mom was very spiritual. Later, she told me, I think it's your destiny. So she just left me alone. But I was a very responsible young man.
Mm-hmm.
I was bringing money to the house. I was helping with things. I wasn't sleeping in Kalakuta, even though I go there every day.
Yeah.
You understand? So she just let me be. And that's how I chop church and Christianity and all that. They fuel it.
I even wanted to bring us back to your, separation, not separation, but like your misunderstanding with Fela and how you fell out. You were talking about character and how that was integral. Do you want to just sort of dig deeper into that? So what is it that you did not connect on?
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm not a revolutionary and I don't pretend to be.
Yeah.
But I'm effective as an evolutionary. Because at the end of the day, the journey of this life and the destination.
Yeah.
The destination is always evolving. We read Kwame Nkrumah's books. So from Kwame Nkrumah, we saw Nkrumah was making moves, to start deconstructing the missed history, in Ghana society. So he wanted to start with young people.
Yeah.
So he decided he was going to create his own version of Boy Scout, Girls Guard, Boys Brigade, so that he can remove the colonial structure. So he set up Ghana young pioneers. So they will, dress like Boy Scouts, but they will be trained in African history and all that. So he set it up. It was part of his foundation. Nkrumah was part of the people who set up Organization of African Unity. Nkrumah had the dream for an African High Command. Till today, why should we be waiting for United Nations? United Nations to come and spoil things more. Look at what they're doing in Congo. You understand? Yeah. But if we had our own African High Command, we could have we can settle our own, problems within ourselves. So we saw that idea and said, wow, let's pick this idea. That's to start training young people. So we gave our own young African pioneers. And Fela loved acronyms a lot. So it sounded like YAP, YAP, this, YAP. So we started in 1976. We launched it. We had not less than 5,000 members at that point in time. Obasanjo government banned us after the burning of the house, because they said, it's a political youth movement that Fela is using it, underground.
It's because you used to sleep at home, they didn't beat you.
You say?
I said it's because you used to sleep at home, that's why they didn't beat you.
Yes. When people ask me, you didn't get all those beatings, I said it's not my destiny. Because I won't be in Calacuta till 5 a.m. Most time, police raid is after they finish performance in the morning. Police vans are waiting outside. I'm home. So sometimes when I get to Calacuta after all the beating or
you're not the one telling them sorry.
They'll be telling me sorry. The fella will get upset with me and say, Lemi, you they did there. They come. But that's my style.
So coming back to the YAP.
Yeah, so YAP, we had that going on. So we used to have our meetings, to formulate our strategies. We're doing like civil disobedience. We're doing all those kind of activities. We go and paste posters. So Obasanjo must go. The government is this and that in Marina those days. Go to Oshodi, where those days the bus used to turn in Oshodi. So we go like 2 a.m. and paste posters on everywhere. The buses. When they resume, they don't notice yet. When they start driving into the city, people start to say, who put this? So we're doing all those kind of activities, like guerrilla activities. Now, the burning of the house happened. I knew the story, the real story of the burning house. So, truth can be controversial. Anyway, after Fela settled a bit in Crossroad Guest House, he lost his house. So he moved to a guest house in Jibo, not far away. So we used to go. So the first meeting we wanted to have YAP. So we had another personal thing about money. But my life is not about money. I had told him before the burning of the house, he was the one who referred me my bank account with ACB, African Continental Bank. Those days. He and his lawyer, Commissioner Shobo. So I was saving up money. I told him I want to buy a car because I'm inspired. That's my own emulation. Fela had 14 vehicles. So I was inspired to own a car. And the way he branded, I helped brand, put his logo on all the 14 vehicles. So I love that. And Bobby Benson had bought a car as birthday gift to his son, who was my age mate. I was inspired by that I will buy by myself. You understand? Because I was making money and I was saving. So, long story. During all the wahala in Crossroad, I was ready to buy the car. So I needed the money. Fela was owing me. I mentioned it to him and he said he would kill me. It was actually 3,500 Naira. So the first time he wrote a check for me, I explained to him I need it in bulk. Like your Bible say, that kind of say I need it in bulk. So he had agreed. So first time he wrote a check, he wrote it like he normally does. He was in his bedroom with the lawyer, Commissioner Shobo. So I walked out, I unrolled the check, and it was 1,000 Naira. So I was disappointed. So I rushed back.
Because you had a goal.
Yes, we had an agreement, so to speak. I wasn't selfish. Our times in life is different. He was going through this trauma, but he had this big deal with Decca at that point in time for $500,000. He could easily afford that money. And he agreed. It's not about money, but it's a story. It's a real story. So it's also to showcase human to human relationships. We're all human. You can be a mega star, you are human too.
I like that you still respect him even with everything that happened.
Yeah,
you never speak ill of him.
I don't have any
definitely
grudge.
This was just like
I don't have, but for telling stories, because people, we get surprised, like, you broke away from him. A lot of people find it hard to believe, like, because I'm still playing the role effectively. I'm like majorly, apart from his family,
you still believe in
I'm the one representing that ideology because I believe in it totally. I was prepared for the role.
You still relate with his family as well, so I know all of that.
Exactly, So I just rushed back to his room. I didn't even knock, that kind of feeling now. I just said, Fela, I don't want. I just dropped the check. I walked out. So commercial Shobo ran after me and said, Lemi,
because he's not seeing angry now. You don't
now. That you are not a rude boy now. So now I said, feelings. We call him people slow. Say people slow. I say, Fela Febo. Then you want to spoil the money for me. I know. So he say, okay, my worry. Jack, my boy. So don't worry, I will talk to my friend. So the next day I came, Fela was laughing. Now I said, Lemi, don't worry. Next week they'll pay me again. I'll give you. I said, okay.
Thank you.
Next week came. Check on road 1,005. So my spirit just said, shh. So I said, okay, I'm not complaining. So I already booked the car. It was the last vehicle. It's a microbus, minivan, Volkswagen minivan. The one we call Danfo. But the original, not the one they cut window. So the dealer was my neighbor. So she kept telling me, Ministry of Justice used to buy those vans from Niteco. So that remaining one, the boss want to sell it to them. So, but she said, I have a claim that is going to pay cash. Ministry of Justice will pay in the next financial year, federal government. So she held that for me for like 2 weeks. So she kept telling me, let me.
So you were under pressure as well to have the money.
So when I now got that money, it was short for me. So I was disappointed. But my spirit just said, I don't quarrel with people about money at all in my life. So I left disappointed. But lo and behold, the universe sent the dream, law of attraction. I've already attracted that dream for a long time. So Tunde Kuboye, who was Fela's in-law then, was given the assignment to run the National Museum in Onikom. Yeah, so he came with the idea to have a museum kitchen restaurant. He said Nigerians don't like to come and look at artworks, but if they come to eat,
they will look at the artwork.
So he called me. His older sister was married to Femi Jared, the actor. She ran an agency called St. Clair Advertising. So Tunde called me and the sister to share the job, to do banners, posters, stickers. Tunde Kuboye saw the quotation. He now said, Lemi, your price is a bit low. He said, my sister runs an agency. He said, look, up your price. Yeah. So it was 3,500.
The money for the car?
Yeah. So I finished the job. I made so much profit. I had enough money to, complete my saving for the car. So I got the car. I couldn't drive. So I took someone to drive. On my way back, I said, let's go to Crossroad. I wanted to show Fela.
So you did it on purpose?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did on purpose. It's natural now.
I know.
Yes, so I now called Fela. I said, I've got the car. He said, Lemi, where you get the money?
Wow.
So I said, now God, though, say, Babatunde Kuboye gave me some job. And I said, please help me bless it. So he drove it in the compound and blessed it. We are already paddy.
I know.
We are already paddy. Okay, there were little things, human relationship. My friends, my colleagues will be planning meeting. They'll say 2 a.m.
You say you can't be.
Yeah, I'll say, I can't come to meeting at 2 a.m. I have clients to see in the morning. And people, I don't like night scene. And I have bought my car. So they'll,
now a big
go and
boy.
tell Fela, let me know big boy now. You don't get motor. You say, if you come meeting for 2 a.m. I will tell them, we don't need Fela in the meeting. He's our president. When we finish,
we're going to report to him.
So those little things started cropping up. Then we had the meeting. We're talking about our modus operandi. My own strong suggestion was we need to change our modus operandi. We can't go head on hitting the wall.
Because it wasn't working.
Yes. But they are revolutionaries. Revolutionaries, they like that kind of thing. So as I was talking, I was like the lone voice. And I already have my own flex in the community there. So there are a few people who, will be in my own side. So Fela didn't like that. naturally. So that thing started cropping up that way. So now peer pressure came in. You know, human beings how we are. You are making progress. Some insiders around you, they are not happy. You understand? So that stance I took the other time, now this, and there was a previous one. Fela rejected my first cover for JJD. For the first time, he never rejected any of my work. He rejected that one. And I was really hot because I believe in what I illustrated, because he never gave me concept of what to do.
Ever.
He knew, he trusted me totally. He knew I was totally responsible. That's why sometimes I will write a comment on the back of the cover to explain, because I didn't illustrate the lyrics literally every time. I illustrated sometimes from my own perspective the thing that he was dealing with, because I totally understand.
Which is the difference between an artist and a graphic designer,
yes,
you know?
Yes, exactly. So that time he rejected the JJD cover, the initial one. If you know JJD cover, it has two artworks.
Yeah.
Two cover. That was
rejected one.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So he rejected it. I said, okay, he gave me a concept for the first time. I wasn't too pleased, because it's like
something had happened.
He dictated what I would do. I agreed, but my spirit said no, that I'm not going to trash my own. So I created the compromise by myself. I created his concept, and because I was powerful enough in my role, I dealt with the managing director of Decca myself
directly,
too. Yes, directly. So I created a double sleeve. You know, I've always wanted double sleeve from that Mausimi Sade. Yeah. So I did a double sleeve. Now the company will afford that to print it.
Yeah.
So I created a double sleeve. I created the Fela concept. I took it to Fela. Fela loved it. I said, okay. I didn't tell him my plan. So I now did double sleeve. I took it to Decca straight. My director, those days they used to go to England to print, robust printers in England. So the mind director, so he said, oh, you want a double gatefold? It's called a double gatefold.
Yeah.
He said, but the album is a single album. He said, but it's lovely at all. I said, okay, no problem. So he traveled. A few weeks later, I came back. He sent for me, showed me the print. It was lovely. He said, it's lovely. He said, go and show it to Fela. My heart skipped a beat.
Because you had gone to
Yeah. So I went to Fela. So I got to Fela and just his own. I put it as a front cover. So I showed him. So I said, Fela, see the album cover. You know already. He said, nice. Yeah. I said, this is not your own. I just turned it back. I said, this is not my own.
He was not happy.
He just looked at me and said, Lemi, you hit me below the belt. So I ran. I disappeared till the next day. I didn't come. So the next day I cooled down.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do again. Yeah, it's all printed. So
all those tiny things added up, and eventually you had to go your separate ways.
It was feeling like this boy is growing wings. Yes, you know, I'm relating this story not to shade him. No, I have utmost respect.
Because what I really like is that
tell human story.
Yeah, I like that you're also admitting your own side, your faults, and like the things you did personally, and also the things that you did personally. So there's balance. But you know what I really like, and I'm really glad that happened, because you went on, and beyond just being the album sleeve designer, you came up with a concept that Kennis Music started to use to package, because you started
for 11 years.
Yes, you started a printing business. You were doing Kennis music designs, and then you did that
CD pack.
Yeah,
used
the paper one.
Yeah, me and Ideo.
People don't know that, and so I think that's really impressive. I'm happy that you did that. I'm happy you went from doing the printing business, and now you have become an artist. You are consciously telling the stories that people are too afraid to tell.
Let me finish with how Fela dealt with me.
Oh,
me and my ego. You know, our egos clashing. So now, this album, Sorrow, Tears and Blood. Yeah, Sorrow, Tears and Blood. The song was composed in 1976. I was privy to the thing that motivated that song. It was June 16, 1976. Fela made me try out Igbo. So, you know, I have a light brain, so I don't like intoxicant, but he insisted I should take some Igbo. So I was feeling high. I was uncomfortable a bit with myself. And the way he loved me, you know, he treated me like his child. I was one of his best friends. I was his youngest advisor, and to capital, I was a comrade in arms in Pan-Africanism. So we are in a very beautiful place in our relationship. So he took me along to visit his family in Ikate. That time the family stayed there. It was actually Femi Kuti's birthday, June 16th. So that day we were in the living room, the wife Remy, that's Femi and Lemi's mom.
Yeah.
So we were watching the 9 o'clock news. The killing in Soweto happened.
Yeah.
When the apartheid government killed students because they refused to learn the Afrikaans language, they were trying to enforce on the African people. So we saw that news on TV that night, and the next week or so we're discussing, as Pan-Africans, and Fela had always sang about police brutality and all that. So that's how he composed Sorrow, Tears and Blood. So he normally will compose a song, perform for a period in show. Most of his songs are like biographical. Mm-hmm. So it could be an event. So he'll perform for some time, realizing, okay, I need to publish this for the public.
Publish it.
Yeah. And when he does that, he does not perform that song live again anymore. That's his style.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes his fans get upset. They may come say, Fela, play Zombie. You say, go and buy the record. That's what we tell you. He composing new songs every time. So, Sorrow, Tears and Blood now fell into a peculiar place. It was probably composed around July or August 76.
Mm-hmm.
So his performance will go on. A few months later, he will release it. So normally, he will perform a song for a period and get it released because the songs are topical. So before, the whole thing dies down. So Sorrow, Tears and Blood fell into a peculiar position because first month of 1977, second month, February, Fela's house was burnt, and he had not recorded Sorrow, Tears and Blood.
Oh wow!
Yes, and meanwhile, he had released Zombie, which was part of what fueled that military incident.
Yeah.
So now Sorrow, Tears and Blood is now in the cooler. You understand? And to resettle his life took some time. Now he had this contract with Decca, so he had to release albums, including Sorrow, Tears and Blood. But it was 1978 before it now became the turn for Sorrow, Tears and Blood to be released 2 years after.
Oh wow!
But trust me, I already knew. Ready. Yes, in my brain, I already knew the illustration I was going to do. So I now did the illustration in 1978.
Yeah.
And that period, our relationship was getting
turbulent. Yeah.
So the day I went to deliver it, he was having a world press conference. He had moved to his former manager's place in Ikeja. So I got there, everybody started hailing me, and the journalists were surprised that, is this Lemi? Because, I was 22 here, going to 20, and I'd done all those things. So Fela looked at the artwork, just briefly, just said, wait till be this. He said, why are these people running?
Oh wow!
So I went with a friend. My other friends, I was talking about human relations because they started behaving, one kind. So they are now divided. They are more on Fela's side, So I had one friend that was still loyal. So I went with him, Bubemi Ejeba. So Bubemi now said to Fela, Fela, now you sing now, say our people they fear for the thing they know. So Sorrow, Tears and Blood had an element of the lyrics. Fela just gave him that shut the fuck up look. So he just kept quiet. And Fela stood up, started poking him in the chest. Said, Lemi, check your mind. Your mind is weak now. Is it because they burnt my house? Don't you know we are revolutionaries? He said, today we are in JK's house. Tomorrow we may be in the gutters, man. Your mind is weak. I big government don't bribe you.
Oh. Whoa. So he questioned your loyalty and that hurt you.
So I just started crying like a child. I started crying profusely. I couldn't utter any word. He said, they burnt my house. They raped my girls. They broke bottle. If you put them for cover. I'm looking at it like, Fela, you will still sing about that one. This one is a song of 2 years ago. But I didn't say anything, no. But that was all going on in my mind. I'm looking, but I just saw it was he had that opportunity.
Yeah, he was very hurt
to shade, to shade me. Like they say in Kalakuta, they say, Fela used Let Me Do Show. He used Let Me Do Show,
Yeah, but I think he was also going through trauma, because I was saying how I had a friend who lost a very loved one, and the way that he started to behave sort of changed. I know that losing people and, you know, going through very traumatic experiences can make you very distrusting of the people around you.
And then, you know, he was always paranoid. You know, people like that, if you make one misstep, you can be tagged the CIA agent.
You would see why he would be paranoid now, because the government was really after him. But I really like that when he even died, you were telling me about how much you cried and how painful that experience was for you later. But Lemi, I need to thank you for coming on this show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to really say that in many ways you're almost like my own Fela, because I remember when I first came to Lagos, you didn't know me. We just had one conversation at the time where I was doing an interview like this in my first job in Lagos, and you held my hand and took me around Lagos.
I held your hair.
I'm telling you, on my head. Then I had a full
afro, the natural.
Yes, and then, you know, you took me around. You held me as your own. What did I do for you? We just did a website for free that we're just recently looking at, which also inspired me wanting to do this show with you first. I'm really grateful.
I'm
grateful
thank you too, because, you know, in my humility, you know, when you tell this story, I feel so like, that I feel too humble, because your achievement is a thing of pride, and I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for Africa. And please, my sister, please hold on to our true identity and the power that you have. The universe gave you that power. It's for this country. That's why you were placed here. You can go anywhere in the world, but this is your home, and you have to contribute. That's what we've been failing to do. Most of our great people will go and die in Paris. You understand? We are not going to leverage. Africa is the richest place, but it has the poorest grace. African people need to identify themselves. Identity is very important. So there is no matter of some people who call themselves black. No.
We're all Africans.
Yes, we're all African. Peter Tosh has a song in 1977. People are not listening. You know, I reference Peter Tosh a lot, but it's not commercial. So they use Bob Marley to cover him up. But Peter Tosh is my own hero, because the content Peter Tosh put out very deep. You can reflect to it later when you get conscious.
Okay.
Yes, he has this song, African, that's the title. Said, no matter where you come from, no matter your complexion, high or low, you are an African. No matter the church you attend, you are an African, as long as you're a black man. And Fela also, Africans in Europe, everywhere, what they focus on Africa. So it's important that we come together as a race,
and as
everywhere. We are geniuses.
We are.
If we can survive 500 years of all this, we are greater than any race.
There's nothing we cannot do. I agree with you.
But we just need to connect.